What's up, Future Millionaires? It's your boy MTI. Now, is Forex going to launch the next utility for drip this year, or will it be early next year? Well, the simple answer is we really don't know, but if I had to say one of those, I would probably say early next year. With us having a week left in November and just 1 month left in this year, I don't think we're really going to see scratchies or lending or anything of that nature coming out in 2022. Now, the question is, does Forex have something different to say about that on the AMA he's going to be doing later on today? Now, one thing regarding drip, we have started to see some pretty big buys come in when the price got around 150. But one thing I want to briefly touch on is if we go over to dripcommunity.wiki, here is pretty much the roadmap for drip and the whole ecosystem, right? So one thing Forex did mention, Stargate Bridge, he did mention that probably won't be going with them. Now, we do have the fiat on-ramp, which, I mean, yes, it's kind of utility, but it's not something that's really going to give it utility to see any like positive appreciation, in my opinion. I think we need more utility for that to really be a big thing, as I mentioned in previous videos. Then, as you can see, we have the auto compounding PigPen and the governance for the PigPen. Now, these two are supposed to come out next, right? And this hasn't came out yet in November. And so if this is coming out in December, that's just going to push everything else back a little bit further. So the question is, when will we see the next utility for drip launched, right? And as I mentioned, I think it's going to be probably early next year, within the first quarter, maybe January, February, unless Forex has something else up his sleeve. So we have, of course, the drip reservoir layer 2, the drip faucet layer 2, and we have scratchies launch. So these three things would definitely affect drip itself. But the question is, when will we see it actually launch, right? And then we have the new drip UI, which this isn't actually utility. This is just basically a redesign of the website. All right, so we have two questions that we really don't know the answer to, but the community definitely wants to know. Number one, as we already said, when will we see the next utility for drip launch? We don't know yet. And then number two, where will the price be for drip when that next utility actually launch? However, as I've said, we have started to see some pretty big buys come in. Will that continue to happen? Only time will tell. Now, for me, my plan has not changed. I haven't added any more drip into my main wallet as far as like DCAing. However, I have been compounding still every single day, because the thing about it is, one thing I like is I don't have to add any additional capital. I can just allow the system to do its thing and get to that max wallet here in the next 6 months. And so, as I said before, regardless if the price is going up, going down, my strategy is still to get to that max wallet. Now, you have to figure out what strategy is best for you. And real quick, let me just show you the faucet here. We can see the price is around 185 right now. And as I mentioned, we started to see some pretty big buys when that price got around 150. Now, if you look right here, you can see my faucet I have around 4,401 drip, and it is about that time to go ahead and compound here in a second. And so if we head on over to the animal farm, we can see the total value locked is still going up at 145 million. And you can see pigs has went up a little bit at almost 124, and dogs has went up a little bit as well, around $57.07. And so if we head over to the dog pound here, go into another wallet. There we go. I still have my 22.49 dogs. You can see here's my tax reduction here. And then you can see here is my dog/BNB LP balance 0.21. All right, so later on today, Forex is going to be doing a drip AMA specifically for drip only. He's going to be answering different questions. So I'm definitely curious to see what questions come up, and also what type of alpha, if any, is he going to release for us today? Are we going to know what's coming up by the end of this year? Are we going to know what's happening the early beginning of next year? What's the next drip utility that's coming out? And all of those things. So I'm very curious to see what Forex has to say regarding the next utility for drip, because he already mentioned the next things he launched for drip will be layer 2 implementations. But the question is, when will we actually see it? December, January, February? When will we actually see it? When will we start to see that rollout, right? And regarding the drip price, some people are wondering, have we seen the bottom for drip? Well, I'm not 100% sure we have. And one thing I mentioned in a previous video is I do think the market is going to take another leg down at some point, which will affect the entire market, of course. And so with that being said, it is nice to see those big buys start to come in, which does show there are people waiting on the sideline to buy up some drip. However, how far will the price go? That we don't know. And also, when will the next drip utility be launched? That's what we're all waiting for. Let me know down in the comment section. Do you think the next drip utility will be launched the end of this year or early next year? Shout out to all of you, and I will catch you on the next one.